Okay, so this Java program is going to show you how to make your first if statement. First thing you need to do is go to File, New Project, choose Java Application and click on Next. The project name should be given a sensible name, but you can't have spaces, so mine's called Patronus Maker, and where it says Create Main Class, I change that to Main and press Finish. Next, the Java program will appear. The first thing we want to do is import a scanner. This will allow us to get information from our computer. Then we set up the scanner ready for use. I'll discuss this at a later date, but basically we're creating the version of the object that we want to use. So we call it scanner s equals new scanner. We tell it that we're going to get information from the system, and we will only refer to our scanner as s from now on. Next, I'm going to print a question out onto the screen. To do this, I use system.out.println. This means that anything inside the bracket, inside the quotation mark, will be printed out verbatim onto the screen. So I'm going to say to people, would you rather that you are a crisp, or would you rather that you are an M&M? And they're supposed to answer with a 1 or a 2. Don't forget the semicolon at the end of the line to show that we finished our statement. Next, we're going to create an integer variable. Again, we will go over variables at a later date, but integer variables allow us to store numbers that we can later use. So I'm going to say int choice1, and I need to remember how I spell this for later on, and it equals s.nextInt. So whatever the user presses on the keyboard that is an integer, it gets saved by the scanner s into the choice1. This enables us to use it at a later date. Now we're going to do our if statement. So if choice1, and I've spelt it wrong, you need to make sure you spell it correctly, and we use equals equals, right? If we have two equal signs together, we're checking for equality in an integer. You open the bracket to show that this is an if statement, and everything contained inside the two brackets is to do with this if statement. So now we're going to print out a second question. Do you prefer day or do you prefer night? Again, asking the user to press 1 or 2. We're going to create a new integer called choice2, and that's going to store the result of this question. We're going to collect it from the scanner, so we press s.nextInt, and the next integer that the user enters will be stored inside the choice2 variable. Then we start our nested if statement. So if the user tells us that they want day, then this is what we're going to do. It's still inside the first two brackets, so it will only happen if the original choice is 1. So if choice 2 equals 1, then we system.out.println you are a horse. Weird. And then we complete that if statement by closing the bracket. Else if the system prints out the ideal Patronus is a cow, obviously. Then we close the else statement with the second bracket, the first statement with the bracket, and we close the original if statement with our closing bracket. Now we're going to deal with what if they say that they prefer to be an M&M. So we use an else if choice equals 2. So choice 1, so if the answer to the first question equals 2, then we're going to ask them another question. Again, this is a nested if statement inside the second branch from the first question. So do they prefer sparkles or knives? and we start the next if. We create a variable choice2. We can call this choice2 because it's in the second decision, it's not in the first decision, and it's an integer. So if they choose choice 1, again using equals equals for equality, then we print out that they are a unicorn. So we've dealt with the first choice inside the nested if. Now we're going to deal with the second choice inside the nested if. Please note that the use of brackets is really important at this point. The opening bracket shows the start of the condition and the closing bracket shows the end of the condition. A lot of people make mistakes by not having their brackets in the right place. So if I press 2, my ideal Patronus is a hedgehog. Now I've dealt with the first branch and I've dealt with the second branch, but I need to have the one that if they decide they're going to be funny and just type in anything they want. Then I put else, and I print out a message that says they're not taking this seriously, and then I end the program. To test the program, you need to go to Run and Set Main Project. And to set the main project, I click on Patronus Maker because that's what I've called it. And then I click on the green button. My output didn't appear, so I need to go and check to see where it is. So it's in Tools, or Tools, and then you click on the window and you try and find the output. And then you press play and you double check that it works. So 1, 2, your Patronus is a cow. 2, right, you're not taking this seriously. So when you double check your program, you need to make sure that it works correctly. Next I have my thing that I did the other day, which is the decision tree. These decision trees can be used. You can see you've got the top level. This will be my first if. This will be my else if. This one will have one question and then it'll have another nested if within it. Then I go back and I deal with this one and it has 2 nested ifs within it. This should make it easier for you to use. If you get stuck, don't worry about it. It's quite a difficult thing and we can deal with that when I see you again on Monday. What I would do is I would change this one and I would move it into a decision tree into pseudocode so you can try and visualize it. This is part English, part code, and if you use it, you can see that you can translate each line into code quite easily. Okay, any help, email me. I'm always happy to answer questions. Have a nice day.